on their CompLexity Reds. So switching up the colors, but into one of the games I am most excited to bring for you guys. But hopefully everybody is going to enjoy the level 1s. And by everybody, I mean CompLexity and Coast. Looking for some very safe early wards. Nothing too deep or grouped up just yet. The ZionSpartan will take a trip up to top lane to watch for an early red buff invade.
They do plant a ward over on Coast up at the ramp defending it, and MeyeA plants his own ward in that area. Both teams spot each other wards. Both teams know that area is now off limits if you don't want to be spotted. ZionSpartan, he's going to be in a very important bush in a few seconds. It looks like the members of Cole are going to move forward, trying to go ahead and invade towards that top side jungle. ZionSpartan's in that brush. If they don't check it, he's going to give them full vision, and if they do check it, that is a deadly Sid. He is not spotted. And this means that Coast can now aggressively ward the jungle for CompLexity. And CompLexity, they should have a good feeling going on. They do ping in the area where Coast has gone towards. So wards across the map of ZionSpartan is not dead.
And the feels in ZionSpartan right now had to be so scared of them checking that brush. He doesn't have a ward to jump away with. He would have been forced to flash and then hope that MeyeA didn't like flash stun after him. It would have been a little bit rough to get away from there.
He would have had to kill himself. He would have had a flash into the turret to kill himself. That was his only option. And think about that. You don't want that to really be happening.
That doesn't really sound like an optimal strategy to me, Studios. So we're gonna have the early lane matchups, looking for maybe a 2v1 mid, but Brawley and MeyeA are going to move back around to their red buff. They just see it being stolen away there by Nintendude. He's gonna smite it away there at the very end and back on off for now. He's continued to land there as Nintendude is still only level 1 after he did not get one of the small minions along with that. Will be forced to do his own blue buff solo without smite.
He actually missed the smite. That was terrifying. He almost missed the red buff there. Was about 10 HP off that smite, but luckily did pick it up. So we have standard lanes. We got to see this comp. We got to see MegaZero going up against Down. Actually, Mega has level advantage. Gets the ignite on. ZionSpartan's so low.
I was going to go in on there. There's the knock-up at the very end. Zion able to disengage, but with only about 120 HP. MegaZero already setting the tone for the top lane.
And that's a way to completely control lane as Riven. Get the early level advantage, move forward with that, and then just pressure. Zion now, in a 1v2 situation, he does have his flash, and it is hard to dive Elise in. He does have health potions ticking, but it looks like we'll just be denying experience, not necessarily going for a kill.
MegaZero, the Lautemortis combo in full effect top lane as ZionSpartan actually kept pretty far away from his turret for a while. Now NintendudeX, like we mentioned, forced to burn through a lot of his potions, 3 down. Fourth one to come in here as he will face check right into Lautemortis. Misses the cocoon, but there is Lautemortis. Red buff is on. Nintendude's gonna have to fight this one to the death. Loud does have flash available. If he gets one auto, he can flash auto. And they get the reset from denting blows, but didn't want to go for that just yet. And now Lautemortis and MegaZero are going to steal away his double golems, proxy farming behind ZionSpartan's turret.
Incredible jungle control. It's actually probably taking a bit of harass mid lane, but incredible jungle control coming out from Lautemortis. He stole the red, went to his blue buff, then went back top, and he knew NintendudeX could not be in the area if he'd gone to his own blue, which most junglers would do at that point. Flash coming in on the Daydreamin. They're going to aggressive bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be the last auto attack. One more, the flash in from DontMashMe will pick it up. He's now dueling both the turret and Chuuper. Throws down the barrier, trying to get the last auto attack on, and Chuuper won't be able to get it. Turns back around, eats a mystic shot, and goes down. Chuuper picking up the Chuuper kill down there. 1 kill apiece for CompLexity's bottom lane.
2 for 1, still only a 300 gold advantage in favor of CompLexity. It's going to be about that kill overall. It was close for DontMashMe. He went in to get that last auto attack off, got scared, but in doing so, the hitbox for Corky just got in range of Ezreal's auto attack. Like that could have been a 1-for-1 trade.
NintendudeX coming around the corner is going to be his Shiphtur, silencing out. Probably is going to take a lot of damage. Will get stunned out there. A couple more auto attacks is all that it's going to take. He's going to heal up from the tether, and the last thing Ignite is just not enough. That Mantrid focused resolve, keeping Probably in the game and making him get out alive. Top lane, MegaZero pushed back to his base as Zion shoves away, but across the map, just plays in every single lane.
I mean, the HP you get from a Mantrid focus resolve like that at the last second, that was 20% of Probably's HP. It's based off missing health, and when you're in a situation like that where you're almost already dead, guess what? The missing health you get back is going to be huge. The bot lane creep wave is in favor of DontMashMe and Daydreamin right now. Chuuper has gone back to buy a Doran's Blade and part of the Phage compared to DontMashMe, who is essentially in that same position item-wise, but he doesn't have a ward to back himself up. So bot lane still fairly equal despite the early kill for Chuuper, the CS advantage definitely in DontMashMe's favor. So the lane control is there, the kill control just wasn't there. Ward's onto the dragon area. I would expect CompLexity to go for an early dragon because Lautemortis loves going for early dragons.
Exactly, and he's used to playing like a Nasus, like an Amumu, both very good early dragoners, just thanks to percentage max HP damage. We're going to see the first buys come out for the top lane, though. It's going to be Cloth Armor and Dorans, where it's just double Dorans and a much more aggressive build there for MegaZero. Returning there, mid laners will return to their own respective lanes as well, probably going double Dorans rings. The same thing there for Shiphtur. Going to get their sustain from different sources, probably from potions. Shiphtur from that crystalline flask. And the bottom lane that you said was relatively even, it's going to get a little bit of an uneven advantage. NintendudeX makes his way down to bottom for Team Coast.
Daydreamin does not have his flash, does have exhaust though, so he can set up a gank. Flashes were burned across the board.
Well, there's actually Chuuper Arcane shifting in, and now he's going to look for the cocoon. Lands on it. Chuuper cleanses late. He cleanses after the cocoon landed, and it's going to be the last flash in there. One more auto attack. One more auto attack is actually going to be enough. NintendudeX taking out Chuuper with an Arcane shift in and a cleanse. Just kind of the perfect storm. Sets up the second kill for Coast.
And yeah, just a quick correction, because I know someone's going to call you out on that. It was a cleanse too early. So we only got the reduced duration on the cleanse, but still a big misplay there, a big mistake. You got to save the Arcane Shift for those situations where you expect to die, you expect someone to come after you, and when you have an Elise like that, when you don't know where NintendudeX is, you got to make that assumption he could come from somewhere, he could come from anywhere. Still a very, very good counterplay from Coast. They waited for the perfect moment. It is unfortunate that Chuuper did miss that cleanse, because that probably would have kept him alive. Would have been a very even matchup, just wasted NintendudeX time. Get a bit more lane control for DontMashMe, but in the end, this would give Lautemortis a chance to make another gank happen somewhere else. Now, Lautemortis not going to give up any control, though. They do have vision on the dragon. They have the pink there. They know there's no one from Coast in the area. This dragon should be going for free to CompLexity.
MegaZero actually a little bit ahead of the game. ZionSpartan lagging way behind. Now Mega around the dragon area. Nintendude backing out for Coast. And with CompLexity, with the dragon in hands, secure for themselves only a 600 gold lead after Chuuper falling down there in the bottom lane, kind of evening that up a little bit more. But with the kills going the way of the jungle and AD for Team Coast, definitely getting a little bit of a head start there, but the extra CS is really going to help Lautemortis. So he did go for a little bit of a heavier farm route his first trip through the jungle. Backs on off, and so jungle pressure off the map for both teams. Nintendude comes out with a Ruby Crystal, same exact buys for Lautemortis.
Cool buy coming up from Lautemortis, I believe. Oh, actually, no, that's just catching him at the wrong time. I thought about Home Guard Boots face up with mini-map speed for a second. That was the Vault Breaker, though. This is the moment for Lautemortis to start making the big plays happen. He's hit level 6 on buy. The Assault and Battery combination, especially combined with possibly the Focus Resolve from Karma for that route. MegaZero's anything, just because the damage from Riven is ludicrous, means they can very easily go for a controlled fight and just burst someone down. It looks like there is going to be a fight over that blue buff. Did probably snag it. No, the blue buff is smoked by Lautemortis. Actually, just killed by Lautemortis because he didn't want that steal coming in. As 3 members from Coast now roam top.
Shiphtur and Nintendude coming that way. MegaZero is in a little bit of trouble. Somewhat of an exaggeration. Forced the flash out there. Was not having any of that. Now it is a 3v2 in the top lane for Coast. In favor of Coast. Lautemortis actually going to pressure forward with MegaZero. Throws a ward in the bush that will kind of send Nintendude back away. And now there's going to be the aggression on ZionSpartan. Gets him locked up. MegaZero kicked away, but with Nintendude coming in there, it's just going to be a 2v2 for now. MegaZero going to go underneath the turret, tries to hit a little bit of wind slash damage off there on NintendudeX. Sometimes it's not about the damage, it's about sending a message.
Actually, MeyeA in the bot lane.
Another engagement. MeyeA flashing away there. He's going to get away with 11 HP. Daydreamin is going to ult in, flash it for the style kill onto MeyeA. Going to go die 2 turret. Last auto attack to pick up the suicide. Chuuper actually with some latent damage. I'm not sure how that one necessarily
as he got chased out. So it was an aggressive play from MeyeA. They went forward, and there was just enough damage missing not to pick up the kill. Actually, top lane now, MegaZero in a lot of trouble trying to get out of there. Does not have flash available.
Is gonna get the cocoon there. He's gonna try to turn around and maybe draw Nintendude and Zion back away from turret, but Nintendude, a lot of pressure up in this top lane. And we talked coming into this game about the synergy between the tops and the jungles. The MegaMortis combo is something that works out so well in team fights for CompLexity, but early on in the game, Nintendude just being such a strong force in that top lane, just trying to get ZionSpartan ahead so they can be that split pushing force for Coast.
Flash from Probably trying to get Shiphtur down. Shiphtur went back to his distortion point, but there is a Daydream there to protect him. That mid turret taking a lot of damage as well. Is probably being chased out by that Fiddlestick. So he's just hanging around in the mid lane. Actually in a bit of danger now as that mid turret will fall.
Oh, and Lautemortis getting away. He's got minion auto attacks coming in. It's not enough. He lives with 41 HP. Now there's NintendudeX coming in here. Probably going to try to get the speed buff from his shield to get himself away right into a cocoon. And DontMashMe there getting given his second kill of the game. And with Coast just, they're just in the right place at the right time. Better rotations, better map coverage, and that will be their sort of objective to take. As far as objectives go, CompLexity did take the first dragon.
It's actually funny, people think about CompLexity and they usually think about Lautemortis ganks. The big kills have been coming from the bot lane actually, with the 2-for-1 early on in the game and the 1-for-1 trade between MeyeA and Daydreamin. So it's been all the lane kills in favor of CompLexity, but like the ganks, the aggressive roaming, the plays up top lane have been a lot more NintendudeX, a lot more Coast. So they've been control in that regards, but because of that dragon, CompLexity is completely even in gold. This is still a very even game. Lee Sin has gotten his Tiamat already though, so that's going to be a scary factor for MegaZero. Because once Lee Sin gets that Tiamat, he can wave clear very easily, he can just push you into the turret. Well, Riven is okay with that. It does give a chance for Lee Sin to apply more pressure, it does give a chance for Lee Sin to apply more farm by taking that top side jungle. And of course with that top turret dead, this is also a very likely situation where Lee Sin will have to have someone helping to kill, or MegaZero will need someone to help kill Lee Sin, just because it's so hard to lock him down with that mobility if he has any wards on him, which right now he doesn't. So he is actually fairly easy to kill compared to a Lee Sin with a ward.
It's gonna be Shiphtur actually gonna get in onto Probably's chain a little bit easier to land. We'll try to juke away from the cocoon. Nintendude will back off Daydreamin in the middle lane, kind of leaving DontMashMe back in base. He has his Trinity Force completed, a little bit ahead of schedule as Chuuper. We'll have that in a little bit. 20 CS advantage for DontMashMe, always known as one of the bigger farmers as far as the challenger, even the LCS scene is concerned. He's 20 ahead of Chuuper, and now going to jump in on a Chuuper. Arcane shifting away. DontMashMe still looking for the kill. MeyeA coming around from behind, and DontMashMe wisely backing off. Supports both in the bottom lane, but a little bit of an advantage as Lautemortis come bottom looking for a gank onto DontMashMe. Has the Valkyrie available, so he can get out of there if you just see an Assault and Battery out there. Probably won't see anything amounting out of all that pressure bottom. In the meantime, it's NintendudeX in the jungle, giving the blue buff over away to Shiphtur. And we talked about the mid lane matchup as well. The innovation from Probably choosing Karma, definitely a non-standard AP mid champion against the Blanc, who doesn't really see all that much face time as well. Neither one of them having all that big of an influence. MegaZero versus ZionSpartan continuing to get pushed out. There is another Q continuing to land. Sonic Wave, no resonating strike to follow up. There's the flash. The slow ignite goes down as well. MegaZero trying to escape with the Valor. He's going to have to try to turn this back around. There's going to be the resonating strike to finish the kill. Probably coming in to look for the follow-up. There's the tether on to ZionSpartan. Does probably actually have the damage to take Zion down. Not exactly sure. He's going to wait for cooldowns. Zion looking to dodge away from that inner flame. Will miss it out there. Lautemortis very low. Is now Shiphtur looking to pick up a kill. He dropped the ignite earlier. Now Lautemortis with only a couple hundred health in his pool. It's going to back right in the bush. Shiphtur not able to take him down.
Top lane, ZionSpartan dueling Probably. He's so low, waiting for the ultimate. The kick will be up in about 1 second. One more hit, one kick, he picks up the kill. Probably just sticking around a little bit too long. ZionSpartan showing why he picks Lee Sin. He can have nothing. He had no HP there, but the shield, the lifesteal built into the safeguard Ahri will combination, keeping him alive. As the flash from MeyeA results in nothing. The stun not landing on anybody.
Well, he didn't have a stun. He flashed Tibbard without a stun up.
That's the thing. He must have been trying to get Molten Shield off it beforehand, but it might have been a fat finger.
he didn't even hit Molten Shield afterwards. I'm not sure where the Molten Shield was, but either way, the stun came a little bit late there for MeyeA. Got the damage off, but that's not exactly what you're looking for. All
Save
right.
the I'll go with that. You know, that was a mind game in a sense because it forced him off the turret. That was a very odd play though. But hey, it kept the turret alive. Now they have a lot of Mortis down there. We'll roll with that because it was a very odd play. And MeyeA, sorry about that. Falling back to old bad habits. MeyeA knows better. MeyeA knows not to flash forward without the stun. So the mind game paid off, and they do pick up a turret in response. Even if it was a bit weird, I can dig it. I can dig it.
All I know is MeyeA did something and CompLexity got a turret. So whatever that something was is definitely going to be worth it. Something that's actually going to go very well for Team Coast, though, is that, there's actually the Flash Fear onto Chuuper, who will cleanse that just in time. I'm not going to specify whether or not that was early or late this time around. It gets back to Lautemortis. NintendudeX behind the turret is on top of a ward there for CompLexity, and after losing their own bottom turret, there's actually going to be a Cocoon and onto Laut. He's going to be backing off the turret. MeyeA's there, but there's a stun up. Coast not looking to dive, taking that out. What I was talking about earlier is the top lane. The split push from ZionSpartan 3-0-0 versus a 0-2-0. It's just going to mean that Coast's trademark strategy of just having ZionSpartan split push is just going to be so much stronger because of all of that early success off of Nintendude's ganks.
A lot of this could be actually probably in the mid lane. Now being dove underneath the turret, the root does land, the silence does land, probably does go down. Another kill heading towards Coast coffers. And I mean, this is their assassination potential. This is the Coast style where you go for very snowball solid champions. And once they get ahead, look how easy it is for NintendudeX to kill Prolly. Compare that to those past Prolly games when skill shots miss. Actually stun onto Shiphtur.
There's the Tibbers coming out. Lautemortis will get feared before he can get in there with Assault and Battery. MashMe's there to dish out the damage with rockets. Shiphtur takes a little bit extra from Chuuper's True Shot Barrage. Chuuper gonna stay down bottom lane and farm. MashMe with the rest of Team Coast. We'll be looking to push down the middle turret with only MeyeA to defend. It's actually Lautemortis drawn top lane to try to stop the split push by ZionSpartan, who actually even forced MegaZero to ult, so he will not have that damage for a further trade.
This is a very cool matchup for ZionSpartan. Every time MegaZero ults, he just kicks them away. He uses that Dragon's Rage, does not let MegaZero get off any damage with the Blade of the Exile. And what makes it even cooler is the fact that he went for an early Ravenous Hydra, while MegaZero went for a safer build, building a Brutalizer first. And I think that's what's given him such a strong advantage. He just didn't have the damage, MegaZero, to compete with ZionSpartan. Now he has that BF sword, now he has the potential to start dueling, but maybe it's too late, as ZionSpartan does have 1,400 gold to spend himself.
And for ZionSpartan, there's actually a lot of damage. DFG down onto Prolly underneath this turret, lives with 400 health, but that is going to be the burst potential coming out from Shiphtur with that Deathfire Grasp complete. We were talking about the top lane as far as a 1v1, but for ZionSpartan, it's all about the 1v1. That's why you buy the Ravenous Hydra, you got better split push. For MegaZero, he's going to have a little bit more of a team fight potential in mind. Just continue to stack up all of that attack damage. Mega take it down to about half HP off of just one combo. Zion going deep underneath the turret, has Dragon's Rage up, which is currently dealing about 630 damage, not counting any armor. But Mega just cannot stay in lane to split against Zion.
Lautemortis taking some damage. The Fear is 3 seconds long. Can he get out of this? He does survive the repel from Elise. Of course, not following up after it had been nerfed. Oh, this is bad for CompLexity, but the gold isn't that bad. They're only behind by about 2k. It's not an insurmountable lead. They can come back from this. They just have to find a way to deal with ZionSpartan up in the top lane. Chuuper will be escaping the DontMashMe aggression with that arcane shift over the wall. And now it's become a game of how do you deal with Lee Sin? ZionSpartan hasn't necessarily killed MegaZero in a while, but he keeps forcing him out of lane. He keeps forcing him into a position where he can't defend that top turret. They need to send Prolly up there. They need to send someone else. And it looks like they're just going to have Prolly try and survive up top maybe, and then have MegaZero go for that team fight. Because you mentioned MegaZero does have a lot more utility in a team fight. He can definitely dish out a lot more burst and set up a whole lot of good when MeyeA is landing those tip results, when Lautemortis has that Assault and Battery to set up burst combos.
And speaking of a whole lot of good, Lautemortis in the jungle is 0-0-0 his contribution, and that's very uncharacteristic for a lot, because we talked about how big the combination of that jungler and top lane was going to be. And for CompLexity, it's been kind of the highlight of a lot of their early games, just kind of keeping them in the game. But in the game today against Team Coast. NintendudeX has just been all over that matchup, getting ZionSpartan ahead, getting himself ahead, and now it's Team Coast collectively with the advantage. Blue buff looking to get stolen away here. Lautemortis does have Smite available. They're actually going to choose this opportunity to engage. Hits on the DontMashMe. MegaZero picked up the kill. He's in the back line on to Shiphtur. Forces Shiphtur out of the team fight completely. It's actually NintendudeX now forced to flash out. And ZionSpartan just not there in time. Could look for a re-engage. MegaZero does get cocooned. Not wanting to overextend CompLexity. Lose Lautemortis, but grab a blue buff and 2 kills on the Coast.
And that's all it needs for them to really start coming back into this. Now heading toward that dragon, another 1k gold they so sorely need to come back into this game. But when you see that combo successful, when you see MegaZero up in the front line with Lautemortis, with that assault and battery, with the utility coming out from Probably, you can see how quickly they can turn a fight around. ZionSpartan, I love ZionSpartan, but even if he'd been at the fight, he does not have a lot of tankiness. He does not have a lot of ways to survive an actual long engaged burst. He's just going to die in a very quick duel, and frankly, MegaZero does so much more, so much faster.
And you never, ever count CompLexity out of a game, no matter how far behind they may be. We've seen some incredible comebacks. ZionSpartan looking to take away the blue. Lautemortis does get it, forced to flash out of Zion. And anytime you're making a Elise flash after a ward jump, you know you're doing something right. CompLexity able to stop not only the split push from ZionSpartan, but to force him not only out of lane, but back into his own jungle. He's starting to turn around. That last team fight was off of a perfect flash initiate from Probably. Ward the engage, just knew exactly when to go. And this is where CompLexity start to shine. Not necessarily in the early laning phase, where they oftentimes do struggle a little bit, but whenever they start to group up, you just see such amazing synergy. Such synergy, so complex. We're going to see CompLexity group up around the bottom lane. It's Mega versus ZionSpartan up in the top lane. Mega with the damage to trade back, but it's just once again the disengage from ZionSpartan, looking to hit the Q dodged away by MegaZero.
MegaZero just isn't quite there yet. The Ninja Tabi from ZionSpartan doing work to help keep himself alive, and of course he does have more lifesteal with that safeguard passive with the Ravenous Hydra. So it's a little bit too late for MegaZero. At the same time, if he can help out his team, you just need to get him enough items to survive versus Lisa. Not necessarily kill him, but where he can hold a turret safely. And at that point, they'll have control of the map again. Until then, it's just the ZionSpartan show. ZionSpartan can just stick top lane, do whatever he wants, and he'll be A-okay until they apply that pressure, until MegaZero can help his team win a big enough fight.
It's going to be about a half a minute until Mega has his ultimate Broken Wings, or his ultimate Blade of the Exile back up. Broken Wings, of course, with a much lower cooldown. And he is going to be top lane, but all he has to do necessarily is just play the minion game. If he can clear the minion wave a little bit faster, he's actually going to pink ward the brush ZionSpartan is in. Once again, they're dueling things out. MegaZero just has to stay at his turret, keep the minions off of it. He's going to get some assistance from both mid laners. The Shiphtur and Probably both show up at the turret. Turret not going to be alive very much longer. The 4th turret of the game going to Coast.
A smart move, because that did force the turret to go down, and it's now forced a 3v3 bot lane, which is still not in favor of CompLexity. They need Probably. We've seen what he's done that past team fight. But now with the help of LeBlanc, there's now an extra threat. There is now a finisher for MegaZero. There is now something to take down MegaZero after that initial burst of damage. Lautemortis in a lot of danger right now, as he takes quite a bit of harass.
Top lane Mega not only having problems with just ZionSpartan, but it's Shiphtur joining the push as well. This is CompLexity's signal to engage. The Assault and Battery follows DontMashMe through the Valkyrie. MashMe stays alive just a little bit longer, but NintendudeX there with the kill on the lot. Now it's MeyeA try to disengage because of course they have to take care of this top lane. MegaZero losing his lane uncharacteristically hard, and Shiphtur there with ZionSpartan. It's not just the ZionSpartan show, able to take down the first inhibitor of the game. CompLexity desperate to make something happen off of this. Daydreamin turns right back around for the Crowstorm onto Probably. Silences him out. There's going to be the cocoon missing. The fear goes out and uncontested. NintendudeX turns around for 3 seconds. A fun spider on Karma action. Probably kind of getting a little bit downvoted there. Makes it back to the base the hard way. 30-second death timer for him.
Hey, going forward towards Nintendude.
Man, both the arcade shift forward from Chuuper just was not enough. Still gets in range for the kill. He actually missed the True Shot Barrage as well. After a nice repel, NintendudeX kind of out of options. Now Chuuper and MeyeA in that category as ZionSpartan comes into what is a 3v3. Lautemortis there to zone them away. I feel like Shiphtur probably had kill potential in that, but better safe than sorry. Coast still have that top inhibitor down, and if it wasn't hard enough for MegaZero to hold his lane, he's now going to have to deal with super creeps and the most super creep of all in ZionSpartan.
ZionSpartan, of course, just absolutely terrifying at this point. He's got the Last Whisper now, so any armor purchased by MegaZero will not do enough. This is now an offense versus offense-based matchup up top lane, and because ZionSpartan's already so far ahead, it's MegaZero just needs to play the comeback game. They've lost their top inhibitor. They've lost a lot of map control. Now expect Coast to make, I'd say, more common plays. Now they can just try and apply pressure mid lane. They can camp around the Baron area. And because those super creeps, because those super minions are going to be applying just constant pressure to their Nexus turrets, they can't really be safe ever, as Lautemortis takes a bit of damage in the mid lane.
Getting feared up. The fears from the support Fiddlesticks. Keep in mind, MeyeA had his choice of almost any single support he could go for. Went with Annie, is going to be there for the engages, but it's the fears from Daydreamin just locking down single targets, allowing the very assassin-heavy composition of Team Coast to just go to work. And this is exactly what we saw from Velocity earlier on when they took their victory over Cognitive. It's just an assassin comp played so very well. Defensive from Prolly's shield, you can even apply that in an area of effect, and that's great. The only problem is that 1-4-1, his shields are so far behind, they're not really going to save anybody when Team Coast wants to burst him down.
The blue buff, it is gone. MeyeA will, of course, spot them out in that little area, in that little blue buff ward. A lot of more is going forward. This might be their aggressive play. They do have Shiphtur and... unfortunately, they can't go for it. They had Shiphtur and Elise in bot lane. MegaZero can't hold that. I like what this is transitioned to. Nowadays, Elise and LeBlanc constantly dueled up together. It's hard to catch either of them, so they can easily make escapes. And now, actually, moving forward onto MegaZero, trying to pick up this kill, or at least pick up this inhibitor turret.
They're going to be able to not only pick it up, but take it down, too. Mega try to get back in there for ZionSpartan. He's going to immediately safeguard away. Probably got the tether. He's going to get the lockdown onto Zion, but Shiphtur has so much damage to back Zion up. Coast can just walk away knowing that if CompLexity want to fight them, they're going to win that 2v2. Mega's so far behind, losing not only his top lane, but also bottom. Shiphtur trying to come in there along with ZionSpartan. Coast in solid control of the bottom half of the map. Now it's Chuuper and Lautemortis taking missile damage there from Corky. It's going to be Chuuper behind the turret, absolutely blown apart, deleted, to quote Quick Shot, as Shiphtur comes in for the kill. Once again, pushing CompLexity off of their second mid turret, as all outer turrets now down, and with super minions continuing to pile in to the top lane. Lautemortis takes the burst combo once again from Shiphtur and DontMashMe there to finish off the kill. CompLexity falling on all fronts as Coast push in for their second base turn of the game.
Shiphtur actually taken out by the Blade of the Exile from MegaZero over the wall. Just great anticipation there. Still, it might be a little bit too little, too late. That bot turret still being pressured. ZionSpartan knows that MegaZero no longer has an ultimate up, but still will be backing off, playing a bit more defensive. The problem is that they just cannot contain LeBlanc. They sent Prolly down there to help 2v2 with MegaZero, and they actually fought them off the turret. They kept the turret alive. What did that give, though? It gave a chance for Shiphtur to easily roam mid lane. He was able to get over walls quicker, get to Chuuper faster, and just burst out and win the 3v3 that's been going on the other side of the map. It's weird how this has transitioned. We've seen the 1v1 become a 2v2. This means that if LeBlanc can get back to the 3v3 that's going on across the map faster, it gives more control to Coast, and it gives them just more victories, as they're now ahead by 6,000 gold. That top inhibitor, of course, still down. And I mean, CompLexity, I don't really know how they can get back into this, because they just cannot kill Elise. If they ever kill ZionSpartan, they can make a lot happen off that. They can take turrets, they can pressure Baron, they can do so much. But it just has not happened yet, and I don't know how they'll lock him down.
If you look at the ward coverage, usually after losing inhibitors, losing team fights, you see the winning team with more wards in their opponent's jungle, but it's actually CompLexity with a ton of pink ward coverage off of MeyeA, just respawning, buying nothing but wards, and walking straight out into his jungle to ward it on up. And as crazy as it sounds, once again, you can never count CompLexity up, or out, the other direction that I was going for there, because they've come back from even worse than this. They're down 5 turrets, dragons, kills, absolutely everything against them. But if there's one thing CompLexity are good at, it's going to be comebacks. Super minions are not going to be spawning in the top lane any longer, as that top inhibitor does respawn. And so for right now, it's Coast looking towards the Baron, and if there's one thing to bring CompLexity back into the game, It's the giant worm monster god thing up on top. Nintendude gonna start off on the Baron. Nashor, 3 members of CompLexity there in the area. It's actually just 2 as the rest of them kind of caught out ZionSpartan there for a second. He's gonna be able to make it out. He's a little bit separated from the rest of the team. I'm not sure if separated is the right word because he could look for a nice cut as CompLexity grouping up around the middle lane. Team Coast off the Baron.
Coast, they have their plan. You mentioned that there is this big threat that they can always go for comebacks, but if you watch Coast, they're going for the specific engagement. Actually, a flash from MeyeA, he gets a great stun off.
There's going to be Daydreamin forced to flash away as well. There's Assault and Battery on it just to support. And Mr. Tipper's taking most of the brunt of MashMe's damage. It's just going to be a solid kill. It's a 4-on-5 here. Now NintendudeX taking down dangerously low. He's down to about 700 HP. And coming into this next fight, if Shiphtur can't get a burst kill off, that is just going to be way too much to handle. In the meantime, CompLexity winning that fight. ZionSpartan nowhere to be found. He's in the bottom lane, taking down the second base turret of the game. MegaZero still unable to split push against ZionSpartan. He's not even afraid right now. He's just walking up straight to the minion wave. Slows out MegaZero. Knows he's gonna have to fight. There's the Sonic Wave missing. No resonating strike to connect. Mega backing away, but is still going to let ZionSpartan get free damage onto the inhibitor. There's Sonic Wave missing again, and it's Chuuper forced to go down there as well. Shiphtur now looking to kill off MeyeA. One more spell is all it's gonna take. Shiphtur taking out the support once again. It's gonna be Zion bottom lane. It's gonna go down here. Where's the wind slash left to come out? One turret shot, one more Q. Chuuper actually gonna take him out with the manliest of spells, the Essence Flux. About the lowest damaging spell you could possibly get there for Ezreal, but it's gonna be good enough to take out ZionSpartan and keep CompLexity's base alive.
Weird fight overall, weird engagement. ZionSpartan, what were you doing just dancing around the base for so long? He did see Lautemortis roaming towards that Baron. The threat of Baron actually forced Lautemortis to retreat, which is why he was able to dance around in the base for such a long time. They're reaching a point where Coast, they keep wanting to send ZionSpartan to split push, but because he's pushing so far into the base, because he's going for the inhibitors, it's just not enough on his own. Because the defense from CompLexity is there, because the team fight from MeyeA getting a stun off, from Lautemortis getting the Assault and Battery off, and Chuuper just with his poke, that is enough of a threat that they can't safely engage on Baron. So Coast has kind of reached a bit of a standstill. This is the chance for CompLexity, if they can keep the style of playoff, if they can force ZionSpartan to be bottom, but not get anything done bottom, and at the same time just delay the Baron coming out from Coast, then they'll have a chance to farm up, they'll have a chance to try and scale this into the late game, hopefully get MegaZero caught up on items compared to ZionSpartan, and then just try and come back through that. It's a weird style to play. They essentially give up Baron, but still pressure enough where they'll have control over it, and they also give up bot lane, but they still have enough pressure where ZionSpartan can't take an inhibitor. It's very defensive, it's very odd, and it might be what they need to do to come back into this game.
Lautemortis going to take a lot of damage, chunked out there by DontMashMe. Big ones to follow up, and there's Lautemortis now down at 900 hit points. No home guard boots, so he'd be forced to buy those if he went back to base to heal. But with Coast on the Baron, they're not even taking damage because ZionSpartan's so tanky. They are looking to disengage. It's probably getting caught out, blown to bits. There's Shiphtur taking him out. The Flash Timbers, Daydreamin is going to go down. ZionSpartan dangerously low. Lautemortis is actually going to go and get the knockup onto Shiphtur. He's going to actually be able to back off, but not before picking up a kill onto Chuuper. It's a triple kill for DontMashMe in the team fight. MegaZero there to pick up kills of his own. But the only surviving member for CompLexity has to go in and win a 1v3. Zion dangerously low, vulnerable to assassination there. I think Hoard gonna get cleared out there by MegaZero. Coast still try to take down there Nashor. As long as MegaZero cannot die here, that's the main thing. He doesn't necessarily have to stop them. He just has to stay alive, delay their progress so that the rest of his team can respawn.
MeyeA will be up in a few seconds. The Baron will be going down. Unfortunately, MegaZero did not have the ultimate up. If it was available, if he had that R, he could have possibly gone in for ZionSpartan. But ZionSpartan, playing Lee Sin, has significant HP growth, or HP regeneration from that lifesteal. And he was not going to be in a killable position just from that initial combo. So unfortunate to see he can apply that pressure. And CompLexity almost had a great team fight there. Did you see MeyeA stun? It hit 4 people. If it wasn't for Shiphtur off to the side, they could have just completely won the fight based off that. But that early pickup on the Prolly and the fact that ZionSpartan If you don't kill him right away at this point, if he survives a fight, he will be able to go for any objective immediately after with his sustain. It means that they now have to kill the wily Elise, and they have to catch Shiphtur off to the side, which they've been able to do, but only after the fight's almost done. And actually, Daydreamin now into Daydreamin. MeyeA going forward.
Daydreamin just going to get blown up there. Nintendu back off. Knows he has Shiphtur there to back him up, and so isn't going to be too scared about that. Dragon, that's actually a global objective going to CompLexity. Just only down about 7,000 gold, and by only, I mean, well, sure, that's a lot, but once again, the game is not over yet. All 3 inhibitors up. There's a Baron buff on 4 members of Coast now. After CompLexity get a nice pick onto Daydreamin, that's going to stall Coast out, delay the effectiveness of their Baron a little bit longer until Daydreamin can respawn.
Daydreamin is up in 15 seconds. So Baron now on Coast. Their old game plan, try and go for the split push, try and go for an inhibitor through pressure with possibly Elise and LeBlanc. It actually will work again because of the increased damage, increased sustain coming out of the team. Now if DontMashMe lands a rocket onto MeyeA, but MeyeA or Chuuper lands a poke back onto NintendudeX or onto Daydreamin. Well, actually not Daydreamin because he did die. But the sustain from Baron is going to play a huge part in this. ZionSpartan's going to be looking to go more aggressive onto MegaZero. MegaZero does have Last Whisper, Black Cleaver, and Bloodthirster, so his damage is insane. But we've seen the dueling potential from ZionSpartan. We've seen how he just doesn't go down. And with that Baron buff, he's going to be looking to go more aggressive, definitely trying to pick up more kills, or at least apply more pressure, make MegaZero just scared to be top lane.
Probably was the first member of that team fight to go down, so he got a little bit overextended in Shiphtur with just a perfect assassination, taking him out there. Interesting to see the Void Staff first build from Shiphtur, realizing that the only way he wasn't going to deal damage is if people stacked magic resistance against him, and probably actually with about 132 of that, so Void Staff's still effective in that regard. Coast,
Chuuper.
looking to pressure.
The spider chasing, just like going straight to him, taking a tiny bit of damage. It's so ineffectual. But now it's the 4v4 versus the 1v1. Who do you bet your money on now, Rapid? It's all about who can win this small skirmish. This is not going to be a 5v5.
Phan's got the 1v1 in the top lane. Banshee's Veil out. Nintendu lands a cocoon onto Chuuper. There's going to be the assault and battery right in the back onto Daydreamin. Lautemortis blows up. There's the stun onto MashMe. The preemptive wind slash from MegaZero. There's going to be a tether landing from probably. He's actually pretty tanky against the burst from Shiphtur. But with CompLexity trying to force Coast off, all Coast have to do is run because MegaZero lost the 1v1. He didn't even try to fight it. ZionSpartan now taking out Nexus turrets. He will take down one. Probably back on off from them as Team Coast re-engaged. They're playing this 4-on-1 split push so perfectly. This is exactly the game they want to play, and CompLexity just cannot deal with it. They're going to lose their top inhib, lose their bottom inhib now as well, forced back into their base. CompLexity, their back's literally against the wall.
They do have that mid inhibitor still up, they do have that mid turret still up, and they actually only have one Nexus turret. ZionSpartan took the top Nexus turret. That is a huge deal, because if you've ever seen a Nexus turret go down in a game like this where inhibitors have started to fall, all of a sudden, if you're on CompLexity, you cannot leave your base as long as super minions are up. Normally, even if you have one inhibitor down, you can just let your Nexus turrets deal with them. They'll take some damage. It's not the best outcome, but they survive. Shiphtur tries to take that blue buff, does not go to Prolly, who almost got that last second steal from the Inner Flame. It was a risky move from Cole to send MegaZero towards the bot lane, but they knew he wouldn't win top lane. They knew that they had to make some action happen then, and it was not quite enough. They also focused on Daydreamin, and Daydreamin is the easiest target to focus because NintendudeX has Repel, Shiphtur has Distortion, DontMashMe has a Valkyrie, but unfortunately, if you're focusing down a Fiddlesticks like that, it's only a support Fiddlesticks. His ultimate is useful but not crucial to these team fights, and it let DontMashMe get those auto attacks off, it let NintendudeX get cocoons and just very, very sustained Elise damage, and of course Shiphtur got his burst, his very, very important burst onto Lautemortis when he engaged.
Game continues for CompLexity, but with 2 inhibitors down, they have a lot on their minds as Baron buff is now off of Team Coast, but with only a couple minutes until it respawns, they can just disengage. For that, a line of pink wards set up by Daydreamin. Bottom lane, Coast have a lot of pressure down there, but with only 1 lane left to push. Sounds like a League of Legends sitcom, but it is where Team Coast are going to go down. To the bottom lane, it's going to be Lautemortis getting a long-range initiation onto Daydreamin. I'm not sure why they're immediately focusing the support. He runs straight into Shiphtur's burst damage, just gets blown apart. He has no magic resistance other than just the lock into the Iron Solari. And against Shiphtur, with his death cap complete and 600 AP, not really going to cut it.
That's unfortunate. ZionSpartan actually going aggressive onto MeyeA, onto MegaZero. He can pick up that kill, gets the flash, gets the kick into the Nexus. Poor little Annie. Won't live to see the Nexus go down. Now going aggressively onto Probably trying to survive. Does get bursted down by Shiphtur. CompLexity falling left and right. This is the game. It looks like Coast will be the undefeated team. They're rotating their score. They got that big, fat 0 in their loss column in CompLexity. They played well. They played an interesting game, but it wasn't quite enough.
23-14, 11 to only 2 in turrets. Team Coast with a dominant early game and their split push, the strategy that CompLexity knew about going into this. ZionSpartan split push just completely carrying it out off of an incredible performance from NintendudeX in the jungle. 4-1-4, he finishes his game, whereas Lautemortis only 0-6-8. So that is going to, it's kind of the story of the game. That's top lane and jungle synergy so strong for Team Coast, and they will coast on to, like you mentioned, undefeated record of 9-0 and 0, I guess.
Yeah, the 9-0, and I guess 0 ties have gone on. Man, that was a hype match. It was cool to see very high-level play from both sides. Both teams really played around their matchups, and once Coast really got in control of the game, once you started to see them applying their strategy and their pressure, CompLexity tried to fight that back, but they just weren't successful. This is not the only time they'll play, though. We're going to have a total of 2 games between CompLexity and Coast. So if you're a Coast fan, if you want to see the blood, if you want to see the vengeance coming out, well, guess what? It's going to be coming up soon. Not sure when, don't have the exact date in front of me, but there will be a rematch between these 2 teams. And just a quick